Have you ever looked at a map of the United States at night? The East Coast is a brilliant string of lights. The West Coast shines brightly too. Down south, cities like Atlanta, Dallas. But then, you look at the middle of the country. From the Dakotas, down to Texas, across to the Rocky Mountains, there is a vast darkness. This isn't because there is no electricity, it is because there are very few people. This huge area, often called the American Heartland, is mostly empty. It is a place of wide open spaces, big farms, and small towns. The silence here is profound, a stark contrast to the constant hum of the nation's crowded coasts. This emptiness is not a new thing. It has been happening for a long time. For over 100 years, people have been slowly moving away from the center of the country. This slow-moving trend has reshaped the American landscape, creating a nation that is more clustered and less evenly spread out than ever before. Most Americans live in a surprisingly small part of the country. If you draw a line around the major cities, East Coast, West Coast, Texas, Florida, Arizona, you have captured the vast majority of the population. People have been moving to these areas for decades. This is not an accident. They are following jobs, opportunities, and a certain kind of lifestyle. The coasts offer access to global trade, finance, technology hubs. The Sun Belt tells a similar story, but with a twist. Texas, Florida, they have boomed because they offer good jobs, warmer weather, and often a lower cost of living than the crowded coastal cities. People and companies have fled the high taxes and regulations of states like California and New York. This has created massive, sprawling cities like Houston, Dallas, Phoenix. They are new, car-dependent cities built for a modern mobile population. They represent a new American dream based on sunshine, space, and economic growth. The geography of the American heartland is a key reason for its low population. The region is dominated by a vast expanse of flat or gently rolling land known as the Great Plains. This area stretches from the Canadian border down to Texas. It is the agricultural heart of the country, a place of immense productivity. The soil here is incredibly fertile, perfect for growing crops like corn, wheat, soybeans. This is why you see endless fields of green and gold as you travel through Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. The land is built for farming on a massive industrial scale, not for dense urban living. To the west of the Great Plains, the landscape changes dramatically. The Rocky Mountains rise up, creating a formidable barrier. This mountain range is beautiful and majestic, but it is also difficult to build on and live in. The terrain is rugged and the climate is harsh. While there are cities like Denver nestled at the foot of the mountains, most of the area is sparsely populated. It is a land of national parks, forests, and remote wilderness. This geography naturally limits where people can settle. The rivers of the heartland also tell a story. The Missouri River, the Mississippi River are mighty waterways that have been central to the region's history and commerce. However, these rivers are not like the coastal harbors. They do not connect the region directly to global shipping lanes. The economy of the heartland has traditionally been built on two main pillars: agriculture and manufacturing. For generations, these industries provided stable, middle-class jobs. A person could work on the family farm or get a good job at a local factory and support a family. But both of these pillars have been shaken. Modern farming is incredibly efficient. A single farmer with GPS-guided tractors and combines can now do the work that once required dozens of people. While farms produce more food than ever, they employ far fewer people. The jobs on the land have simply vanished. Manufacturing has followed a similar painful path. Many factories have closed down, others moved overseas for cheaper labor. Rust Belt towns show the result: hollowed-out streets and shuttered plants. A factory closure can devastate a small town's economy. Job losses, falling property values, shrinking tax base. New jobs are being created in technology, finance, healthcare, mainly concentrated in large urban areas outside the heartland. This creates a jobs mismatch. Skills like operating factory equipment and repairing a tractor are in less demand. Skills like software development and digital marketing are in high demand and centered in big cities. Young people face a choice: stay with limited opportunities or move to cities where the jobs are. Most choose to move. This brain drain robs communities of the next generation of leaders and innovators. There are still jobs here: doctors, teachers, small business owners, truck drivers. Some cities show bright spots attracting new industries. But overall, the 21st century economic engine is not being built in small Great Plains towns. It's being built in dynamic, globally connected metropolitan areas on the coasts and in the Sun Belt. The climate of the American heartland presents another significant challenge. It's really a region of extremes. The summers can be brutally hot and humid with temperatures soaring well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The winters, especially in the northern plains, are notoriously long and cold, with heavy snowfall and biting winds that can drop the wind chill to dangerously low levels. This is not the mild, temperate climate of the California coast or the sunny warmth of Florida. It's a climate that tests your endurance, for sure. Living here means being prepared for whatever the sky throws at you, from sweltering heat waves to paralyzing blizzards. The region is also famous for its severe weather. The central and southern plains are known as Tornado Alley for a reason. This is where cool, dry air from the Rockies collides with warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, creating the perfect conditions for powerful thunderstorms and destructive tornadoes. Every spring, communities across the region hold their breath, watching the skies and listening for the sirens that warn of an approaching storm. While tornadoes can happen anywhere, their frequency and intensity in the heartland add a layer of risk and anxiety to daily life that people in other parts of the country rarely experience. Beyond the dramatic events, there's the simple reality of the seasons. The long, cold winters in the northern heartland can be isolating. The days are short, and the landscape is often covered in a blanket of snow for months on end. This can lead to a feeling of being cooped up and can contribute to seasonal affective disorder or the winter blues. For people who thrive on outdoor activity and sunshine year-round, this can be a difficult environment. The appeal of moving to a place where you can be outside in January without multiple layers of clothing is a powerful motivator for many. The changing climate, with its potential for more extreme heat, more severe droughts, and more intense storms, only adds to the uncertainty. Life in the American heartland offers a unique set of advantages and disadvantages. One of the biggest pros is the low cost of living. Housing in particular is far more affordable than on the coasts. A person can buy a large home with a yard for a fraction of the price of a small apartment in a major city. This means that a middle-class salary can go much further, allowing for a higher quality of life in material terms. Other costs, from groceries to childcare, are also typically lower. For families looking to stretch their budget and get more for their money, the heartland can be a very attractive option. Another major advantage is the strong sense of community. In small towns, people know their neighbors. There is a spirit of mutual support that is often missing in the anonymous world of big cities. When someone is sick or has a crisis, the community rallies around them. People look out for each other's children. High school sports are a major social event, bringing the whole town together on a Friday night. This close-knit social fabric can provide a deep sense of belonging and security. However, this quiet life also has its downsides. The lack of amenities that people in urban areas take for granted can be a major issue. There may be limited options for shopping, dining, and entertainment. Access to specialized healthcare can require a long drive to a larger city. For people who crave cultural diversity, cutting-edge restaurants, and a vibrant art scene, a small town in the heartland can feel stifling and dull. There is also the issue of social conformity. In a small, tight-knit community, it can be difficult to be different. The choice between the anonymous freedom of the big city and the supportive but sometimes restrictive community of a small town is a fundamental trade-off that defines the experience of living in the heartland. The rise of the internet and digital technology was once seen as a potential savior for the heartland. The thinking was simple. If you could connect to the global economy through high-speed internet, location would no longer matter. A software developer could live in a small town in Nebraska and work for a company in Silicon Valley. This would allow people to enjoy the low cost of living and high quality of life without sacrificing the career opportunities of a big city. For a time, it seemed like the death of distance would lead to a population boom in rural America. However, the reality has been more complicated. The rollout of reliable, high-speed internet has been uneven. Cities and suburbs are well connected. Many rural areas in the heartland still struggle with slow and unreliable service. This digital divide makes it difficult for people in these areas to participate fully in the modern economy. You cannot run a web-based business or work effectively from home if your internet connection is constantly dropping. Furthermore, physical location still matters, even in a digital world. Companies have found innovation often happens when people are in the same room, collaborating and bouncing ideas off each other. That's why tech giants built massive, elaborate campuses. Even for remote workers, being in a city with a network of other professionals helps. It's easier to find a new job, attend industry events, and stay current with the latest trends. The heartland's isolation remains a disadvantage. The The recent pandemic may have changed the equation, forcing a massive experiment in remote work that many found they liked, leading to new interest in moving away from expensive cities. Despite the long-term trends of decline, the future of the heartland is not entirely bleak. There are glimmers of hope and signs of renewal across the region. Some cities are successfully reinventing themselves for the 21st century economy. Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, finance centers, office towers and trading floors, insurance companies, corporate lobbies and people at desks, renovated downtowns with cafes and street life, young professionals, good-paying jobs, affordable housing, new amenities. Another source of hope, immigration. New arrivals are providing a vital lifeline to many small towns, immigrants from Latin America, immigrants from Southeast Asia, schools staying open, children in classrooms, Main Street businesses staying open, workers in agriculture and food processing, newcomers bringing energy to communities, communities becoming more stable and diverse, growing appreciation for the heartland's quality of life, big cities, expensive housing, crowded transit, stressed commuters, people looking for an alternative, simpler life, a quiet porch and morning routine, slower pace, more affordable life. Want to own a home, want a yard for their children to play in, want to be part of a real community? This back to the land movement is still small but notable. New industries are taking root in the region's vast open spaces. Wind farms being built, wind turbines turning. The Great Plains has been called the Saudi Arabia of wind. Massive wind farms are sprouting up, providing jobs and tax revenue. Agricultural technologies, drones over fields and research labs. In the end, the story of the American heartland's empty spaces is a story of powerful forces. The geography of the land, with its vast plains and rugged mountains, was destined for agriculture, not for dense cities. The relentless march of economic change has been the primary driver, pulling people away from the farms and factories toward the dynamic, knowledge-based economies of the coasts and the Sun Belt. This great migration is one of the defining features of modern American life. The climate itself, with its harsh winters and severe weather, adds another layer to the challenge of attracting and retaining residents. The lifestyle, too, presents a fundamental trade-off. It offers affordability, community, and a slower pace of life, but often at the cost of amenities, diversity, and the anonymity that many people crave. For over a century, more Americans have decided that the benefits of the big, bustling city outweigh the comforts of the small, quiet town. Yet to say the heartland is simply empty is to miss the whole story. It is the place that feeds the nation. It is a region of immense natural beauty and deep community bonds. Its story is not over. The rise of remote work, a renewed appreciation for affordability and quality of life, and the growth of new industries like renewable energy offer pathways to a different future. The future of the American heartland will likely be a mixed one. Some areas will continue to struggle, while others will find new ways to thrive. The great open spaces of the heartland are not a void, they are a canvas, waiting for the next chapter of the American story to be painted upon them.